Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor of the Tenkar's Tavern blog. Today is going to be educational, I guess. Uh, listen, last week, Gail was kind enough to share, I guess, an email chain that she had with, I'm guessing, Tom DeSanto's lawyer. Interesting stuff. It's going to tell you the ground ball, like not even just damages, what they are going to look for in costs. And I'm going to explain, go over what a civil action is, how civil court is different than criminal court. But on to the show. Dear Gail, please stop wasting everyone's time by sending emails asserting or inferring that Tom is somehow obligated to continue to perform the capital letters term sheet, including paying your Michael Best invoices. Don't ask me who Michael Best is. I guess he's the best Michael. I don't know. Once you breached the term sheet, Tom was relieved of all his responsibilities. I'm guessing that's whatever contract that they signed. You are aware that Tom has incurred over $300,000 in costs. He is not incurring any more and is confident that he will be awarded all his costs at trial. Note, costs, not talking about damages. We're just talking about legal fees. As I've advised you in the past, you should continue to protect the Gygax trademark at your cost. Best Mark Halloran, Mark Halloran Law Corp. Yeah. Follow up on that one. Hi, Gail, as mentioned in our prior email, attached are copies of invoices, outstanding bills in the trust account with Michael Best. Please contact if you have any questions. This is from legal assistant Gina. So this is Gail's response. Please, Mark Halloran, when did you advise me your client was not honoring our contract? Show me the email and date, please. Mark, as everyone, I'm going to fix this for her, has Googled my name. Maybe they should Google yours. Plus, I see Tom has added yet another attorney. Let's look at him. This is really an interesting story unfolding Game of Thrones on steroids. If Tom wants to justify his attempt to take over the Gygax library, why not be honest? I also have $300,000 plus into this project. Tom is just running up a needless bill. I'm sure Lavely and Singer is quite happy. I am, on the other hand, trying to publish Gary's original work, not for the money, but to honor his memory. Tom, can you say the same? Someone you seem to want to block, please explain to all of us best. Mrs. E. Gary Gygax. And then she follows it up with, today I had a fight. I had to fight Tom DeSanto in a Santa Monica Nova courthouse. This is April 23rd. I have the Bill Cosby judge. He wished me well. Trial date is May 2020. Meantime, not sure if I can move forward, so I asked for support. Gail Gygax. P.S. Tom, the song is for you. And then she puts a link to Nina Simone. I put a spell on you. Tom DeSanto, call me. Don't go down a rabbit hole. Mrs. G. All right. So we know ground level. At this point, DeSanto is looking to recover $300,000 in legal bills. We know that Gail has not spent $300,000 on legal bills. I don't know if she spent, much of anything on it. Now remember, this is involving the trust. This does not involve the fund. The fund is a nonprofit that is controlled by Gail and the board, whereas the trust is controlled by Gail. The trust is theoretically, I guess you could say, for profit. It's Gary's IP. So what do we mean when we're talking a lawsuit or a civil action or something of that sort? Because you watch stuff on TV, you see all this criminal court stuff, and he's guilty, he's not guilty. You don't find guilt in civil court. Civil court or at least not like as you think, like guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. No. Now, my experience with civil court, besides being on a jury on a civil court for 3 cases, my experience with it is dealing with the NYPD's trial room. The NYPD's trial room is a civil court. NYPD's trial room does not determine guilt or not guilt. Remember, courts don't find you innocent; they find you not guilty in a criminal court. But with the NYPD's trial court, it's a civil court, which means you don't need to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. Remember, not unreasonable, a reasonable doubt. You just have to show a preponderance of the evidence. What does that mean? Well, basically, in layman's terms, you're looking at, if the jury is looking at the evidence in this trial and they find that the plaintiff has 51% of the weight of the evidence, the believable evidence, and the defense has 49%, you're siding with the plaintiff. So how do you win a civil trial? Well, preponderance of the evidence means as long as you're making a paper trail, and that paper trail can include the contract in this case. I'm sure screenshots of Gail's communications on Facebook will be added into evidence. Emails, your communications. This is the trail that leads to a finding for you or against you. You can damn well be sure that the plaintiff in these cases is going to go forward if they have a strong belief that they have more believable evidence in their favor. Additionally, you must remember, in a civil case, you don't need the full jury. You can have a hung jury in a criminal case if with your 12 jurors, if one, if you're going to find somebody guilty and you have one that's finding him not guilty, you have a hung jury. Civil case, you only need 5 out of 6 to agree. I was the foreman on a jury that was hung 4-2 in favor of the plaintiff. It was a mistrial in the end. But if otherwise, if we had found in favor of the plaintiff, then you go on to the damage phase. Damages. That generally means money. That is what the person being sued, assuming that they lose the first phase, if they are found by the preponderance of the evidence to have committed the allegations in question, then you move on to the penalty phase. Jurors are notorious for being very unpredictable in the money that they award in the damage phase. I shouldn't say penalty phase, the damage phase. Notorious. You can't generally guess what a jury is going to decide on that. Lawyers might go to that first part of the trial, and they're pretty much that they usually know where it's going. If you're on the defense and you're pretty sure the evidence against you, that's when your lawyer tries to make a deal with the other side. And the only reason why the other side's willing to make a deal at that point is usually because juries get swingy. So they might fool you. They might be hung like mine was, and I don't think it should have been. But in any case, once you finish that first phase, once you decide whether or not the defendant is liable, my experience and experience of most of my friends that have gone through civil juries that have gotten to that spot is you find the culpability, if you find for the plaintiff, deals are cut. Deals are cut because, and even with the NYPD, I supervised people that were being sued. Maybe they were indemnified. Heck, I was indemnified for a lawsuit. I was sued for $2 million. They paid out $15,000 to make it go away. But those jurors, like I said, are very swingy, and usually lawyers, once it goes to that second phase, once that first phase has found somebody to be guilty by preponderance of the evidence or culpability, they make those deals. They'll so I suspect in Gail's case, we're not going to see a resolution to this until sometime, if she doesn't make a deal prior. Um, she's probably going, but based upon the fact that Tom DeSanto in this case is $300,000 in the hole in legal fees. I suspect unless Gail can make a deal, she is going to lose, and Gary's IP will be in somebody's hands, aside from Gail's, within the next 2 years. Just my take on it. Spitballing. Now remember, I'm not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice. I am not saying if you are being sued by Tom DeSanto to take the deal. Everybody's circumstance is different. But certainly get a lawyer. If you can afford it, get a good one. If you can't afford it, get a lawyer who can maybe, keep you from losing your house. Because remember, Gail, fearful of losing her home, the widow, and not for nothing, Gail would be the worst person to put on the stand. You, as a defense attorney, even in a civil case, she's not the one that you want to put up on the stand. Now, you might be able to say maybe she wasn't competent to sign the contract, but I'm sure she had a lawyer with her when she did. I believe her brother-in-law is a lawyer. I know he's on the board along with her sister on the Memorial Fund. So interesting times. Interesting times. I guess the best thing I can say to this is, avoid getting your ass sued. Right? All right, folks. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for stopping by. If you get a chance, if you'd like to leave us a review on iTunes, and that is how you are listening, please do so. As always, God bless. Be safe. Roll those dice well. And I will talk with you all tomorrow.